In this video we'll be taking the Ferrovia Circumetnea, if I pronounce it right, a railway line around the Etna volcano in the Italian island of Sicily. This railway line will make a round trip around the most active volcano in Europe, and the views from the train are absolutely stunning. What it's like to travel on board of these very tiny trains around Europe's most active volcano. Let's find out in this video. Join us on this scenic narrow gauge railway line around Mount Etna here in Italy, so around the volcano. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. We'll start this mini railway adventure at the underground of Catania. At the underground station of Borgo, to be exactly. This used to be the final or starting station for the railway line around the Etna. And all the signage is also leading to a station. And the station has everything what you can expect of this very tiny railway station for narrow gauge railway lines. There's some activity around it, there's a waiting room, and there's even a staffed ticket counter, where we bought our tickets for the next day, and a very friendly guy was helping us over here. There's also a line map. However, this section here of the track is not in use, even though you will still find lots of old trains over here. However, for the first part of the Ferrovia Circumetnea, that's the train around the Etna, sorry for my pronunciation, you will find metros, and a part of it at the moment of recording is being rebuilt to a metro line. So you can wait here forever, there are people waiting at the platform. It looks like there's a depot over here, but no trains here. Even the entrance to the metro is placed more or less at the railway station. This looks kind of cool actually. And this here is where the trains used to run. Anyway, the next day we went to another metro station of the Catania underground, to the station, and once again sorry for my Italian pronunciation, and I already say sorry in advance for every Italian pronunciation, Nesima. Over here, the railway station for the FCE, so the railway line around the Etna, has also been marked. But also this station is not in use. From here on, we'll be traveling on board of a bus to another town, from where on we have the real trains, so it's a rail replacement bus. There were some other tourists here as well, that looked much more prepared than we did. And they walked very confident to the other side of the station. There was another bus stop as well at the upper level. So we just followed them, assuming that the bus might depart from there. To go there, you have to cross the old railway station as well. And the bus station itself, it's rather big to be honest over here. However, our rail replacement bus doesn't depart from this area over here, but at the lower part, near to the big road. So we have to cross the railroads again that are not being used, and we have to move to the bigger road. At the moment we went there, our bus was actually almost coming in already. And yeah, we could have seen this ourselves as well, because there's basically a small sign mentioning that the bus does depart from this area. And also the guy that sold us the tickets, he also mentioned it. Well, this is our rail replacement bus, but probably, statistically, if you watch this video, you might have a train for the entire route. Simply because most of my videos will be watched very good over the long term. Not really on the short term, to be honest. Over here, this was the information with the timetables for the rail replacement buses. I will link a website in the description of this video where you can find the up-to-date times, because things might change. Anyway, the bus will bring us to the town of Paterno. This town has a population of a little under 50,000 people, so it's not small. And it's not too far away from Catania. The section until Paterno will be eventually transformed into a metro line. And while we made our way to there, At several spots we could see the construction was going on for, well, renovating this to a metro line or rebuilding this. I don't think this will all be underground though, because this is quite a long distance. So the Catania metro will be way longer in the not too far away future. Even though this bus was not very popular, to be honest. I think most people who take this metro line or a future metro line will take other buses nowadays. And might also travel the other way around in the morning rush hour. We crossed the railway line several times, but once again no trains on these sections of the route anymore. And here we arrive at the railway station of Paterno, what will be the terminal station eventually. The train will wait for the bus in case of a delay. Spoiler alert, we had a little delay of about 5 minutes. But since there are not that many frequent trains on this route, it won't cause any problems in the timetable. The trains you can find on these routes are relatively simple. I was traveling on these newer trains, but I also noticed some slightly older trains. These newer trains are relatively comfortable, to be honest. I mean, they're not the most comfortable trains, but journeys don't take long anyway. And because these trains are so tiny, I'm not gonna spend too much time on showing the exterior of the train. The kind of wheelchair accessible area have been marked as well, and the top speed is 100 km per hour. For the rest, these trains come in one class only. And while we're making the first leg of this journey, I also noticed an older train on this route that was also smaller. At the railway station of Randazzo, I even noticed a kind of train that will be used for some touristic journeys. Wine tasting experience? I don't know, but well, they have this as well. I hope you like this video so far on board of this train. If you like it or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. If you have questions, feedback, comments, even if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and international traveling, to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation. But of course I have some exceptions when it comes to this, like this train here. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, let's continue with this video. For now, let's take a closer look at the interior of the train. Well, it's not that special, so I won't spend too much time on this. At one side of the train, you will find the bike and also accessible area. Close to this point, you will also find the toilet, and this toilet is also, well, easy accessible. For people who need this, there are some extra support bars over here. For the rest, it's nothing really special, to be honest. Even though these trains do not provide barrier-free access, there are some stairs, as you can see. If needed, there can be an elevator, well, more or less taken out from the side over here, and you can be lifted on board of this train if you're sitting in an elevator. For the rest, these trains are really simple. You only find bay seats, so seats facing each other, and there's one class only. For luggage, you do find the overhead luggage racks, but seriously, these are not really long distance trains, so I don't expect a lot of people traveling with a lot of luggage on these trains. There are some screens at the end of the carriages, although I did not saw them being used. And this here was another GoPro I used for the Trainviking Passenger POV YouTube channel. I also noticed power sockets, by the way, on board of these trains. And these trains are also air conditioned, what is needed with the temperatures in the south of Italy. Once again, for luggage you have the overhead luggage racks, but because the seats do come in these layouts over here, don't miss out on the back ends between the seats. That doesn't only count for this train, but for trains in general. Let's take another quick look at the route for today. We went from Catania to Paterno by bus, from where on we continued the journey by train, to the railway station of Randazzo to be exactly. From there on we have another train that will bring us to Riposto. From Riposto we took a regular train back to Catania again. Randazzo is basically the city where all these trains do terminate. And I'll show you the railway station of Randazzo as well a little bit later on in this video. But for now, just sit back, relax and enjoy the views from the train. And once again, if you want to see the views from the train for the entire route, uncutted with real sound, I will upload this on the Trainviking Passenger POV YouTube channel. And if it's not there yet, just stay tuned. This is the railway station of Randazzo, a town with a population of a little more than 11,000 people. At this moment, all these trains do terminate or start their journey over here. The number of trains that do operate between here and Catania is slightly higher than the number of trains that will be taking along the next section of the route, what is to the coastal town of Riposto. At the moment we were here, also a big touristic group went from here towards Catania with this train as well. As a matter of fact, I felt like most people who took these trains were tourists. I think the frequency for local people is just not good enough, or what might also be very realistic, I think we traveled in the opposite way from the rush hour, and we were traveling during rush hour. At this tiny railway station there is an indoor waiting area, although it is Italy, so I don't know how much you need really an indoor waiting area, and especially in the south. Even though this is slightly higher in the mountains, it's not really high. We're at an elevation of around 765 meters above sea level, what is about 2,509 feet above sea level. For the 5% of the world population that doesn't use the metrical system. If you want to go for hikes at Mount Etna, this is also the best spot to start your hikes. It's closest to the summit, but well, you still need good hiking shoes and plan your trip for this. At first we considering to do this, but since my better half was pregnant at the moment we recorded this, we eventually changed our mind on this. Anyway, this tiny railway station has a small bar as well, where you can buy lottery things and, well, all those things. Personally, I'm really not into gambling. It just makes people lose their money. But if you want to do so, you can buy your lottery tickets over here. And of course, your espresso or cappuccino. For the rest, there is another small waiting area over here, and close to this waiting area you will even find a staffed ticket counter. I really like this. I mean, this is also one of the bigger stations along the network, but still I like to see staffed ticket counters. Toilets can also be found here if you walk a little bit down the platform, but they're not that special. The town itself is actually really nice and cute. We spent a little time over here, had some coffee and some food, and basically we took the first train back to the valley again, to the coast. The part of the route between Randazzo and Riposto, what is at the coast, is being operated way less frequent than the route between Catania and Randazzo. It's a shorter section of the route, but the bigger towns can be found between Randazzo and Catania and not on this section as well, what might also have an impact on this. Anyway, we had the same train type for the second leg of this journey, and for now I'll just show you some views we had from the train between Randazzo and Riposto. We took the train to the final terminal station in the town of Riposto, what is a little bit closer to the city center. We had some lunch in this little town, and after that we walked back to the main railway station, where you will also find these trains around Mount Etna. From there on we took another train back to Catania again, where we stayed during this trip. So we made the circle round. That's it on board of these little tiny trains around Mount Etna in Sicily in Italy around the volcano. I hope you liked this video or this has been helpful to you. Once again, if so, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. questions, feedback, comments, if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And if you like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling. Once again, I have some exceptions when it comes to this, like this video. But if you like to see more, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. Before we really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you for watching. If you want to see other videos, of course you can find them on this channel, and if you subscribe you can see new videos coming up. Apart from that, in the description of this video you find a link to a map, and on this map you can find all videos as well, but then on a map. And don't forget to check out the Trainviking passenger POV YouTube channel. It's also listed in the description of this video.